And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I have never played curling. I've never been a caveman. So caveman curling has no... I've watched curling in the Olympics, and my co-host on the Dice Tower, Eric Summer, is a big fan of curling. But curling, I know that they shoot these giant pucks down the ice, and this one you're shooting giant rocks, essentially pucks, down a board, trying to get as close to a target as you possibly can, with some special abilities and some absolutely fantastic, wonderful, tremendous, terrific, superb artwork. Does that mean the game is any good? Well, we'll look at it, and then we'll tell you. Were you yawning?
No.
This game comes with a rolled up board, which initially I would say, oh, come on. A rolled up board of paper, but I mean, this is a pretty long one, but this has a very ingenious way of dealing with it, because we have these magnetic holders here, and what you do is you're going to put that magnetic holder on the end of the paper, and it snaps around it, and then it lays nice and flat on the table. And so you do that to both ends, and the game just, I mean, it's really nice and sharp. The game will easily fit or lay flat on the table. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about this game before anything else is just the artwork on the game. As you can see, it's really fun artwork. Here's all the different people watching, and you see the submarine. I don't know, it just reminded me of like a Where's Waldo vibe. Something that I really enjoy, just looking at all the different people watching, and they go all the way down the line watching to the end. Now, that's not really essential to how the game itself is played, so let's talk about that. Now, I'm going to be a little bit, hopefully not too embarrassing here when I say that I don't really understand the goals of curling, although apparently all the sweeping my parents made me do as a child would have helped me out on the team. But in this game, what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these discs and you are going to flick it as far as you can. Well, not as far as you can, but you're trying to flick it all the way down the court and get it here into the caves, into this target area. Now, you have to at least get it past this line here in the middle, or else it's out of the game. So you need to get it at least that far. But other than that, you need to get it into this cave area if you possibly can. And so players will take turns doing that. If it ever hits this back piece here, this wall, it's out. If it ever flies off the board, it's out. If it ever flips over, it's out. But what this game introduces here is some tools that players will be able to use to help their stones that they're sliding down get better and farther. One of these are hammers. You have two different size hammers. A hammer can be placed after you shoot it. You can put it down and move the stone the length of the hammer. Now, you cannot do that so that it moves another stone, so sometimes wherever your stone might land up, that's just not possible. There's also a farther hammer too. And again, you're trying to get as close to the middle of this target as you possibly can. When you use one of these hammers, then you cannot use it anymore and it's discarded. But each player has two long ones and two small ones. So you can use one pretty much every turn if you wanted to. Another thing that you can do is you can put one of these runes of protection on your stone. So let's say I put a stone here, I can put a rune of protection on it. Now, if that rune ever touches the ground, and that's because someone else hits it or something. So let's say this guy shoots down, aha, boom, knocks me out, comes in, and my rune hits the ground. I have two options. I can leave my guy where he is, which occasionally you'll do because he'll end up here or something. Or I can take him off the board and discard the rune, either way. And I can save it to the end of the round and then shoot that later on. So you get another reshot with your stone. After everyone has shot all of their stones, so let's say it looks something like this. And what you do is the stone who is the closest to the middle is the winner of that round. And they're going to get points for each stone that they have that is closer than their opponent's closest stone. So here, tan has two. The third closest stone is this red one here. So the tan player is going to get 2 points. And then you wipe the board, and whoever scored the most points goes first in the next round. And you keep going until someone gets 6 points. As soon as someone gets 6 points, that player is the winner. Cavemen curling. Let's start with Melody. Melody, what do you think about this game?
At first I thought it was really hard because flicking it like this is not my thing. Either I always hit it too soft or too hard and it flies off the board. Until I found a secret way to flick it. Well, I really think it's really fun with the special powers. It makes it a little easier. Like, if your piece is really close to the middle line, you just use the little one and passes. And the long one, it can get you closer to the campfire target thingy. Well, I really like flicking it. It's a lot of fun, and I really like the artwork on the side. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, okay. I think we're in agreement on how nice the game looks. It's big. It takes up a good chunk of table space, and the flicking aspect is really neat. I like dexterity games. I like flicking ones, and this one works well. As to whether, curlers will scoff or scorn, I've heard that this game is fairly close to curling, except the special tools, but I like those things because you might not be a good shot, but you can use the hammers to get the things in, or you might make a bad shot, but it's in everybody else's way, so you put your rune on top of it and hope someone knocks it off so that you can then reshoot that shot. Scores usually are 1, 2, or 3 points per round. I guess, you could technically score 6 per round, but your opponent would have to be pretty bad for that to happen. And so the game can go back and forth, but it's it's a very quick game. We're talking 10 to 15 minutes. A very attractive box and one that works well with kids. It's 2 players, although you can play with up to 6 players, just splitting the different rocks and items between the different players. But I think I like it best as a 2-player game. So overall, I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up. I enjoy it quite a bit.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.